Okay, I know, it's been a long morning. We've all been up since 3? 3? No. We decided earlier upstairs that this is a blessing and we should take it as such. And for those of you dear people who it took 3 or 4 hours to get here, I know the goddesses and gods are looking down upon you very favorably. So I'm Anthea Hartig, and I have the distinct honor of being the Executive Director and CEO of the California Historical Society. On behalf of everyone involved in this monumental effort, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I'm representing my Board of Trustees, here ably noted by Tom Decker, our Executive Vice President, my incredible staff, our team of volunteers and members. And it is my distinct pleasure and honor to welcome you to the launch of the Panama-Pacific International Exposition Centennial, the PPIE 100. We at CHS are deeply honored to partner with the city to help lead the commemoration of this historically pivotal moment in San Francisco's and the state's past, so that together we can learn and be inspired to create a more informed, a more vibrant, and a more equitable future. My deep gratitude goes to Mayor Ed Lee, Chief of Protocol Charlotte Schultz, the mayor's PPA 100 liaison, the amazing Donna Ewald Huggins in her 1915 splendor, Phil Ginsberg and his incredible staff at the city's Recreation and Parks Department, stewards of this beautiful Palace of Fine Arts. It's my honor also to welcome a lovely human whom you'll hear from in a minute, our presenting sponsor AT&T, when Ken McNeely is joining us, and as well as his great team. Our exhibition sponsor, the Hearst Corporation, I think Fred Delbroy is still here. Centennial sponsors Wells Fargo, the Henry Mayall Newhall Foundation, Recology, the Town School, so many of people who have already joined in sponsoring this incredible year-long celebration. This is not possible without the city's and CHS's additional coordinating partners in this effort. The Maybeck Foundation, Richard Petler is here, still right over there in that lovely blue shirt, and truly a kind of genius of a human and a man who's become a good friend, also from whom you'll hear Dan Shine, the CEO and curator of Innovation Hangar, who will... An additional sponsor, a very special man, I hope he's still here, is Scott Seligman of Sterling Bank. There he is. Thank you, sir. I want to also extend a very special welcome to members of the press corps who have joined us. I think we're graced by not one but 2 incredible women presidents of esteemed presses, both Christine Shine and Mary Huss of the Chronicle and the San Francisco Business Times in particular, and all of you who have braved the elements to join us. We're bringing together for PPIE 100, of course, PPIE100.org, just went live a couple minutes ago. Look at your phones, as long as they're AT&T phones. We're bringing together more than 50 Bay Area cultural organizations and businesses that will participate in the PPIE 100 to present a huge variety of public exhibitions, thrilling events, performances, lectures, symposia, dances. The list goes on. These partners include the Exploratorium, the Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco, the San Francisco Public Library, Mechanics Institute, the Oakland Museum of California, the Presidio Trust, the San Francisco Ethnic Dance Festival, and so many more. Together, we'll join in creating and telling the amazing stories around the 1915 World's Fair, a moment in history when San Francisco stepped back onto the world stage. So think back with me about 100 years ago. You can close your eyes if you're tired, if it's helpful, to an extraordinary set of exhibitions that filled this beautiful place, Bernard Maybeck's masterpiece, the Palace of Fine Arts. The fair, covering 635 acres in a walled city atop basically kind of reclaimed bay land. Think of domed palaces, palmed lined courts, and monumental statuary. All of this arose miraculously in an ambitious plan that mirrored human spirit and ingenuity that over a decade ago had just, of course, crawled out of the ash and debris of the 1906 earthquake and fire. In just a few years, this entire acreage was transformed. And within this ancient-looking but very modern citadel were remarkable displays of modernity and innovation, this thing called electricity. There were art, there was agriculture, and despite the onset of World War I, 21 foreign nations built pavilions and joined millions of Americans from every corner of the nation. If you were one of those 19 million people who came to the fair between February 20th and December 6th of 1915, you might have gazed at wonder at the Tower of the Jewels or seen spectacular evening light shows, again, brought to you by that crazy thing called electricity. You would have seen a 5-acre model of the Panama Canal. And of course, the Panama-Pacific International Exposition was created and for which San Francisco fought so hard to get from Congress to celebrate the completion of the canal. You could have seen demonstrations of pageantry, celebration, industrialization, imperialism, nationalism, and even racism. Whatever you would have experienced, you would be looking into a future that you did not yet know what it was. And we hope you do today, imagining with us what the next 100 years will bring to San Francisco, to California, to the nation, and to the world. The visionary and somewhat complicated mayor who brought forth the PPIE was none other than James, Sonny Jim Rolfe. It's now my honor to introduce a man who wears his vision slightly more calmly and not quite as on his sleeve as Mayor Rolfe, but in my mind and in many others embodies the intelligence and dedication to his city like few other have ever since, Mayor Ed Lee.
Well, Anthea, thank you very much for that introduction, and thank you and the California Historical Society for your wonderful year-long work here. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to try to mask my level of enthusiasm for this with hopefully some facts and some acknowledgments. But let me say that, in my culture, as many of you know, when it rains, it's all about prosperity for everyone. And I want to make sure everybody knows that when I said that the World Series would end the drought, I meant it. So I want to repeat that again and again. But I want to say thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this important milestone in our city's history. And I'm enthusiastic about this Panama-Pacific International Exposition celebration that we're launching today. I am enthusiastic about literally everybody I see in this audience as I recognize your faces and the associations that you have, whether it's our arts or historic organizations, our education institutions, our writers, the people that have talked about this city for so many years. You've got to understand how significant this is. I'm a student of history myself, and I know that this city that I have the utmost kind of privilege of managing as the mayor is a delicate city, but it's one that is steeped in history. And so to be able to kind of take a look 100 years ago and, as Anthea said, to try to imagine yourself in this city 100 years ago with some of these artifacts that just came off the manufacturing line at the time, or to take a look at this architecture that Bernard Maybeck was so famous for during that time when they were blending the Beaux Arts with real lives of people, and to suggest that this is among us 100 years later, and that there is something that links this history over 100 years, and that word that time and time again you hear me say about today. Innovation did not start 3 years ago with Mayor Lee. That's another fact I wanted to kind of dispel. Innovation was over 100 years ago. And it started with so many people in San Francisco suggesting through this fair that they started that we could celebrate going forward our imagination of what was then, now, and tomorrow. That's the TNT of this theme that we have to celebrate. I'm excited for it because there's an opportunity here with all the different sponsors that we have and with the enthusiasm that Charlotte and Donna Huggins and others bring to this, the imagination that Innovation Hangar brings, the historic evolution of AT&T that Ken gets to lead, is all part of this great story that the Historic Society is documenting, but that we get to celebrate, and one that I think our youth need to understand where we as people come from in San Francisco and what history allows us to be. That innovation wasn't just something that an app discovered. It was the spirit of people that have been here for generations. And over 100 years ago, if I get to teach these young tech kids what our city's history was, then hopefully we appreciate that innovation is all about many different industries across the board, about the spirit of people, and about what we do for each other to bring in a strong community. You're going to find this out if you read this book that I've just been handed that's going to be part of this celebration, the Jewel City that it is called. But I take you back to this very building that we're in, the good symbol of what Bernard Maybeck had designed, this Beaux Arts, and to suggest to you that this began that movement 100 years ago, and now, with the help of some 1,200 donors, the Maybeck Foundation, along with our Recreation and Park department, has forged a really successful partnership that I got to be a part of even when I was DPW director. And Phil was there as I was city administrator, that we forged together this partnership to conclude a $21 million renovation of this building in detail, in historic detail. Not bold change, but historic confirmation of something that was beautiful and historically significant. That's part of this celebration. The Palace of Fine Arts has been already internally transforming itself to an innovation center to showcase the then, the now, and the tomorrow theme, and that what was possible in the minds of people in 1950 continued to be demonstrated already today, and that we suggest going forward we can have another 100 years of innovative spirit. The California Historic Society, the Maybeck Foundation, Innovation Hangar, and AT&T are all partnering with our Recreation and Park Department, and certainly with our Arts Commission as well, to recapture this zeitgeist, if you will, of the Pan-Pacific International Exhibition. So I want to say thank you, a big thank you to all the organizers. It takes an incredible effort to remind people where we came from. And there's a lot of hours that people spent to produce this opportunity. So I want to say thank you to all the key sponsors, all the organizers for their vision and their leadership in recognizing this important time in our city's history. And I want to remind everybody that if you want to know more about that history, just talk to Charlotte Schultz. She was there. Her boyfriends in the past are not here anymore, but she was there. I am proud that the city is organizing this centennial celebration. It's going to be a year-long effort, a lot of series of public events, exhibitions, and activities that are presented by some more than 35 Bay Area cultural, educational exhibits, activities, organizations that reflect the Pan-Pacific International Exhibition's historic significance. And again, I say the then, the now, and tomorrow theme will be exciting for people to understand and to learn from. I'm excited for what's going to happen right here at this Palace of Fine Arts that will kick off all of these wonderful exhibits. I want to just give a special thanks to AT&T because I know that there's a historic significance to their evolution as a company. From the phones that I asked Ken, can I get one of those historic phones one of these days to remind people, maybe in my office. Ken, see, I'm setting it up already. To remind people that innovation wasn't just here yesterday. It was been here a long, long time. But most importantly, to celebrate the constant generations of people that have been before us that exhibited this wonderful innovation spirit that is San Francisco. So I'm going to welcome and encourage all of you and all of the audience to bring your families here to San Francisco, to bring them to all these events, your visitors, your friends. I'm going to encourage my daughters through the years. Not everything is in New York these days. You got to come back here and you got to share this experience. There's plenty of activities that we'll be participating, beginning with the 3-day celebration on February 20th. I encourage everybody to be here. And then in June, by the way, I get to host the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and by golly, am I going to remind them as mayors that I'm proud to be the mayor of this innovation city, but to also understand, and I think they will agree with me, it just didn't happen. It's all about the histories of all of our cities, and this wonderful one that we did this World's Fair back 100 years ago, kicked it off for the entire country, if not the entire world, as Panama Canal was celebrated and as our city was coming out of the recovery of a 1906 earthquake. There's just a lot of things to understand, and when you do, then I think we appreciate this city even more. This is unique to San Francisco, the Centennial. It will be the focus of our city for the entire year. I want to say happy holidays to everyone, but keep writing about this, keep exhibiting, keep talking about it, because it will be worth our every celebration. I want to thank our Recreation and Park Commission. I see them violating the law and being one place one time and not declaring this as part of their rules of operation, but they're here to celebrate with everyone. Yes, and I hope that you feel my enthusiasm here, because this is historically significant to so many people. And I will talk about as well the things that happened 100 years ago. It's significant to my own cultural heritage, what happened then, and how we are more inclusive, more diverse, more accepting of a lot of people across the world in this great city. But this is what innovation does. This is what recognizing history does. This is what advancing our generations is all about. Thank you for being here. Thank you for celebrating, and thank you for being part of this wonderful, wonderful centennial. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mayor Lee, for your support, for your guidance, and for your wisdom. It's now my pleasure to introduce Phil Ginsburg. Park and Rec superintendents have a very long and important history in San Francisco, and none other than Golden Gate Park Superintendent John McLaren played a critical role in selecting this site for the fair and for guiding the extensive landscaping that graced its grounds. Of course, he actually really didn't want it in Golden Gate Park as well. And Phil can attest to that park's extreme beauty. But please join me in welcoming Phil Ginsburg, General Manager, Rec and Parks.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the Recreation and Park Commission, I have the great pleasure of standing before you today as we kick off our PPIE celebration. And we are the proud but extremely humble stewards of this site. The mayor spoke about the theme of our PPIE celebration being then, now, and tomorrow, and it's incredibly appropriate. Parks are more than ball fields. They're more than swing sets and playgrounds. As joyous as those things are, they're also our natural heritage and our cultural heritage. They create a sense of place for us that connects then, now, and tomorrow. And when we think about what's before us in commemorating the celebration as the stewards of this site, There's an incredible then, now, and tomorrow story in and of itself. As Anthea noted, back in 1915, when the Exposition took place, more than 18 million people from all around the world came to a park. Today, we have millions of visitors to Golden Gate Park and some of our other incredible cultural attractions. The then for us also celebrates the decades and decades that the Exploratorium was in this very site, where millions of people, millions of families and kids literally passed through this very space to explore and to learn and to focus on community. The then has also been about the more than 40 years that the Palace of Fine Arts Theater, in the space across this, just across the way here, has hosted community music and theater events, again, welcoming our diverse communities from all around the city. The now is iHanger and the incredible celebration that is going to take place in this space. The now is the PPIE celebration, which we're so proud to be focusing on right here. The now is the joyous and really, really remarkable park that this has become thanks to our partnership with the Maybeck Foundation. As the mayor noted, a $22 million exacting renovation of the grounds and lagoon and rotunda. The tomorrow, in addition to this year-long celebration, is a big question mark for us. What will this space be for the next 50 to 100 years? We don't know. But what we do know is that whatever this space becomes, it's going to honor the incredible history and culture of this site and invest it and steward it to make sure that we get to celebrate the bicentennial of the PPIE. Before I conclude, I just wanted to offer a few acknowledgments, and that's to our core partners here. The California Historical Society has really been an amazing, fantastic partner, and we're so grateful to them for taking this on and giving this important time and important site the attention that it deserves. Dan and iHanger, who are going to be activating the space, and this is a pop-up version of what's going to open here in February, and you can already begin to see with Maker Faire and Kaboom, and you can kind of see this place coming to life, and we're very excited about it. Of course, we want to thank our sponsors, most importantly, our presenting sponsor, AT&T. Thank you, Ken. A special shout out to my team because this morning there was so much prosperity here, Mayor. There was actually about 2 feet of prosperity outside the big walls, and you all would have needed a canoe to cross over the sea of prosperity to get in here. And our hardworking men and women who take care of this place have been out here since 6:30 this morning, making sure that the joyous amount of water we've received around here had parted, the sea had parted, and that the grounds were ready to receive all of you. So I really want to thank our gardening crew. I also want to thank my partnership and property management team. Lisa Branston is here, Dana Ketchum and Cassandra Costello. Cassandra's actually leading the process to help us identify who the next partner will be in this space. Our public affairs team, Sarah Ballard and Connie Chan in the back. Like this endeavor, we are a team at Rec and Park, and we're very proud to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phil, and thanks to all the Recreation and Parks team. You're a delight and an inspiration to work with. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce Ken McNeely, the president of AT&T California since 2005. And we all may think we have big jobs, but imagine being responsible for all external affairs, public policy, philanthropic activities for AT&T and the Golden State. And as such, he leads an incredible workforce, and many of his colleagues are here today, of just about 36,000 employees, give or take. And he does it with grace and aplomb and dignity, and it's my pleasure to welcome our presenting sponsor, Ken McNeely.
Well, good morning, and what a pleasure it is to be in such a stunning building and park. Thank you so much, and thank you, the California Historical Society and the Maybeck Foundation, Innovation Hangar, and the San Francisco Recreation and Parks Department for leading this exciting citywide celebration. I also want to thank Mayor Lee, Charlotte Schultz, and Phil Ginsburg, and many of the other city and community leaders who are with us here today. You know, we all know that the Pan-Pacific International Exposition was a game changer for San Francisco, not only because it revealed the resiliency of our city, but because it showcased the innovative spirit that continues to make San Francisco a global technology leader. Innovation is at the core of all we do at AT&T, and we are proud to be the presenting sponsor of this exciting event, celebrating the city and our company's rich history of innovation. It was right here in San Francisco, leading up to the World's Fair on January 25th, 1915, that AT&T initiated the first ever transcontinental telephone call. And it wasn't on an iPhone. An innovation milestone that has shaped the telecommunications industry and the world we live in today. It is here in San Francisco that PPIE 100 and AT&T will again celebrate our innovation leadership through exhibits and programming throughout the year-long celebration. We also know that the future of innovation depends on our youth and a workforce that is inspired and prepared to tackle the challenges of 21st century global knowledge-based economy. That is why AT&T is also proud to announce today that we are making an additional $50,000 contribution to expand the PPIE Passport to Success program executed by the California Historical Society in partnership with the San Francisco Recreation and Parks Department after-school program and the National Park Service. Thank you. This program will engage hundreds of low-income middle school students in the hands-on learning and educational opportunities offered by Innovation Hangar and the many other innovation exhibits and cultural institutions participating in PPIE 100. AT&T thanks the California Historical Society and all the partners and supporters who have come together to celebrate this important event in our history, in our city, and in our nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. We're deeply honored and very much anticipatory of working with school children in particular, but learners of all ages. But the Passport to Education program holds a very special place in our hearts, so thank you again. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Dan Shine, the CEO of Innovation Hangar. Dan comes to us from a long and really fascinating career, even though he's so young and youthful. And he's taken a very deep and meaningful path to his career in which he combines an incredible creative spirit, a deep knowledge of tech, an incredible entrepreneurial sense, a very deep and guiding sense of sustainability, and both on the philanthropic side and the corporate side. And before establishing Innovation Hangar as a nonprofit, he was asked by President Obama to come to the White House as a senior innovation advisor. So he will bring his great spirit to all that he does here, and it's my pleasure to ask him to come up. Thank you.
Welcome. It's very exciting to see everybody here and for you to begin to feel the excitement and the atmosphere that comes with a sense of place. Place is very important, and it's actually the driving force that led us to do the things that hopefully you'll get a chance to enjoy here over the next year. It comes from the idea that if you bring a lot of people together from different backgrounds with different skill sets, and different needs and motivations, together they can create something better than they can apart. Moreover, the sense of place has an important part or important message through the notion of World's Fairs. World's Fairs are perhaps one of the greatest examples of the power of place, whether it's 1915, 1939, 1964 World's Fair. These are seminal moments in our history, and innovation loves a deadline, I'll tell you. And when these World Fairs were coming together, there were very, very intense moments where innovation came to bring people's dreams to reality and to be able to showcase to the world. Don't get me wrong, there is a very important part about the virtual world, and I've been involved with the virtual world for quite some time. I have the dubious distinction, before the age of cellular data, or digital cellular data, of actually sending the first text message from a moving vehicle. You can, so I'm not sure if that's entirely, you know, positive, but at the time, it seemed like it was pretty cool, and we had this idea that we could do some pretty neat things. Anthea mentioned that I spent some time working with the federal government, and what happened there is I saw so many of my colleagues and friends that were involved in tech that had come up with amazing ways to change the world and were trying to find funding. And there wasn't a good path. There wasn't a way to help link them with the people that could provide funding either through the federal government or even from the private sector. So again, the idea of place came into being. The impetus for this was that we thought if we could bring entrepreneurs together with investors, students to watch the entrepreneurial process, and the general public to be able to come and demystify this entire process, that we'd really have something. And I think that's why we're here, and those are the things that we're working to bring together. I've had the real excitement of having a number of events already in our short tenure in the space of people that were creative, and we're talking about hundreds of them all coming together. And the energy is palpable. The partners that you are beginning to see that are beginning to move in to occupy the space are the essence of innovation in its best form, and people that are here to promote social impact in so many ways. I think very importantly, and then I'll get off their stage, is we have partners like Maker and Maker Media that have a very different view of who will innovate for the future. Many of the World's Fairs had by necessity, a rather top-down view from large sponsors and large organizations about what the future would look like. I think what's exciting about this centennial, what's exciting about what this place will become, is that it is a place where many people are going to be able to come up with the future, and many differing versions of the future, and many differing paths to innovation, or paths of innovation. And bringing that together is what we're really here to do. We're really excited to do. Lastly, as I get off, it's an incredible responsibility that I'm incredibly grateful for, to be in some ways the caretaker, the curator of this space. You can ask Laura later on about Audrey, but the angel is Audrey, and she talks to me when I'm here very, very late at night sometimes. But the gravitas of this place is something that I've not seen or felt anywhere else. During our first couple of months, people would continually knock on the door and want to come in. And so I think we're just so excited that in the coming year, the general public, for the first time in so many years, will have access to this place, access to these different languages of innovation, and hopefully take that with them, take it back to where they can be inspired to innovate themselves. So thank you very much, and I'm glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Dan, for helping us dream about what will be within these beautiful walls. And right in this space, leading over to the fireplace, will be about a 10,000 square foot exhibition that the California Historical Society, with my great curatorial team, headed by Jessica Howe, will produce. As well, we'll have a kind of a jewel box one in our galleries down on Mission Street. And I know all of the partners, as well as CHS and Dan, are so looking forward to welcoming you as we kick off this great event on February 20th. I'm deeply grateful to all of you for being here, to our incredible sponsors once again, and for all of you who've braved the blessings of prosperity to join us. Please go to the Just Live website of www.ppie100.org, ppia100.org, because it's a lot easier to say than the Panama-Pacific International Exposition. We invite you to view the storyboards that are all around you as you imagine what will be here. And I'd like to actually ask, before we ceremoniously open these doors, you all remember, many of you coming to the Exploratorium, and I know my husband and I do, bringing our sons here, that you came in, you had a very different orientation to this space. So with Dan's help and Maybeck Foundation's help and all of us, you will enter through these grand doors starting on February 20th. So we're going to peek out and see if it's still raining in a minute. But before we do, I'd like to ask Laura Ackley to come up real quickly, and also Mayor Lee again. Laura has spent her about 25 years working on understanding the World's Fair. She started when she was 10, and it's been a lifelong project. I also want to welcome her, because I think it took you 3 hours? Yeah, to get here. But she would like to make a very special presentation, and then we'll all exit and walk past the Model T and open those grand doors. But I give you a truly amazing scholar and a phenomenal woman, a deeply dedicated and passionate expert and advocate. And this beautiful book that she created, that Malcolm Margolin brought into the world, is one of the shining stars of this centennial and available to all of you. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Anthea. Mayor Lee, may I beg your presence? On behalf of Heyday Books, the California Historical Society, and the PPIE 100 celebration, and most of all myself, I'd like to present you with a copy of my book.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, that's for the mayor? Oh, all right, Mary Lee, you have to come up one more time before we take you out.
How are you? Good to see you. Thank you. This is an official badge, a real deal.
Come on up.
All right. Thank you for the honor of making me the liaison for the centennial. I'm thrilled. And I'd like to present you with this original badge from the 1915 Exposition, the opening day. Can I pin it on you?
Sure.
All right. So now this is what would have been worn on opening day as everybody came down Van Ness Avenue, oops, my hat, to enter the gates.
Wow.
So you're now official.
Yeah,
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for everything
Thank
you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. This officially ends. Oops. Oh. Madame would like to address you.
I just wanted to say that when the mayor gave us the instructions, I think they were instructions, that was go do this, and we got together in office with Phil and with all the organizations that really had an interest. And there we sat, like, what are we going to do? Everybody was interested, and you took the reins, and we didn't have to beg you. You volunteered. Just remember that every day.
Yes, every
that you
day.
volunteered.
I volunteered.
And you got put this all together. And so all these things take leadership, starting obviously with the mayor, and then for your leadership of getting everybody together. It's been wonderful. The other thing I'd like to say is that when the mayor came here, he said he was going to try to control his enthusiasm for this event.
How do you do?
Well, here's the deal. The chief of protocol and the protocol office, we now give you permission to have uncontrollable enthusiasm for this event. Only for this event. And then Donna Huggins, she is our leader in this whole. What do we call her? We call her a diva.
A diva, right.
And she
takes one to know one.
And she does. And she does have uncontrollable enthusiasm. I mean, it's really uncontrollable. So the mayor may have to. Where's Chief Scher? See here? And lastly, Mayor, this book, Jewel City, you know how we give heads of state and people gifts? Well, I bet we could get this at a good price.
Yeah, I think so.
And this to give to people that come to see the Jewel City.
Beautiful.
Okay.
One last thing, I just wanted to thank the Kohlers for bringing this incredible Model T all the way from San Andreas today. It's exactly what you would have seen come off the Ford assembly line at the Exposition. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, thank you everyone again. And let's go open those doors.